So this is the setup for sample 32 and sample book assignment 6, the lapped zipper, which is a bonus zipper. So we have our 5x11 rectangles. So the setup is the same just as sample 31, the centered zipper. So like I said, this part is optional for this if you want to practice it, because typically in a garment you will need to finish your seams, and overlocking is just kind of like one of the best options, especially when you're learning, because it conserves the most fabric than like pinking. So that part's up to you. So this part for this one is optional. I just did it here. That was if you want to try it, but then it also just more easily identifies the example one, so y'all can find it in the book. So once again, we have our 3.5 inches. All right, like that kind of looks. Oh, that's right here. So we have our 3.5 inches, and once again, I marked it with tailor's chalk. If you want to do the cut or the snip, why some people like the snip is especially if you're doing like a full seam in the back and you're of like a dress, you will sometimes need that snip to help like relieve some tension so you don't get like a weird wrinkle. So either way is fine, just as long as you know where it is. And we're going to do a permanent seam, so 12 SPI, back stitching at the beginning and at the end at 5/8 inch seam allowance, so halfway between 1.5 and 3/4. You need to slow down and use the hand twill. Don't forget to backstitch. And then you'll trim those threads. And then for this, I still find doing the basting and busting it open helps me more. If you do not like that, then you can skip this next part of doing the basting and move on to the part 2 video. But I will be going and moving this all the way up on SPI, keeping it at 5/8 of an inch. I will not backstitch, and I'm going to have long tails at the beginning and at the end. And then I'm going to go and bust this seam open, and I will see y'all back for part 2.